I was working for this agency and I started to have a desire to get a promotion. God began to give me dreams and visions of starting a new position. So what I began to do is I began to prepare myself for this position. I signed myself up for a leadership training within my agency that helps you to gain the skills and the knowledge needed to fulfill leadership roles. Not only that, I obtained a mentor who I am so very thankful for to this day. She pushed me, she gave me assignments to help me become more knowledgeable in the very area that I wanted a promotion in. I started to sign up for initiatives and projects related to this specific position. I started to prepare myself. Needless to say, I ended up getting the position. Thank God. But I already knew because God already showed me, but I still had to prepare. So here I'm on the job. I'm training for the position. I'm learning the job, the ins and outs. And one day my supervisor comes to me, whom was also my mentor. He was my supervisor, but he was also my mentor. And he came to me and he said, on today, I want you to train new employees. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. Train new employees. First of all, I have never trained employees before. I am in a new position. I'm learning this position. And you want me to go and train these new employees. What do you mean? Secondly, corporate public speaking, I don't know about that. I had already been used to speaking in ministry, speaking at church, teaching Bible studies. I was already accustomed to that. But public speaking within a corporate setting, that was uncomfortable for me, and it was also unfamiliar. But here's the thing, I had a choice. I could either sink or swim. Not only that, that was my supervisor, and I could have told him no, but guess what? There would have been consequences behind the no. So I went ahead and I trained these new employees. I only had basic knowledge of the information. So here I am, I'm reading off of the PowerPoint. I had no personality. I barely knew how to engage with the audience. Basically, I felt like I was sinking. And I also felt like a failure because I'm like, I know I bombed this. And you know, at the end of trainings, you give out those surveys so that you can be critiqued on how you did. I already knew. I'm like, I don't need to be critiqued by anybody because I can critique myself. I already know that I did not do well at all. But here is what I learned through that situation. That situation helped me to grow. Let me back up. Here, I was thrown, or I want to use the word thrust. I was thrusted into an assignment that I was not prepared for. Let me say that again. I was thrusted into an assignment that I was not prepared for. There are some things that we prepare for and that we are prepared for, especially ambitious women. We will prepare, but there are situations that God will push you into that you are not prepared for. You are not prepared for. You didn't see it coming. You had no idea that this was a part of your assignment. Here's the thing. The areas that we know is a part of our assignment, we're going to prepare for those things. I did not know that training new employees was going to be a part of my assignment. Had I known that, I would have prepared myself. Had I known that I was going to come to work that day and train new employees, I would have prepared. but I had no idea that was going to be a part of my assignment. So I was thrusted into it. I was thrusted into something that I was not prepared for. There are some situations that we will be put in that we are not prepared for. What do I mean by that? You didn't take a course to prepare for it. You didn't take a training to prepare for it. You did not go through a curriculum to prepare for it. You were thrusted into it. As I already said, public speaking in front of church congregations, public speaking when it came to ministry assignments, that was one thing, right? This was something unfamiliar. When it comes to ministry, you're totally dependent upon the Holy Spirit. And I'm not saying that in your corporate setting not to be totally dependent upon the Holy Spirit, because in everything we do, we should be totally dependent upon the Holy Spirit in everything that we do. But there is a difference when it comes to ministering to a congregation, ministering to God's people compared to corporately. There is a difference. And so what God did through my supervisor is pushed me out of the boat. There was no, okay, I'm going to give you a choice. I'm pushing you out there. Now, my choice could have been, I'm not doing this. I'm not prepared. Then that would have shown disobedience, for one, disobedience to the direct orders or the direct command of my supervisor. It would have shown pride, and it would have shown that I'm not teachable and that I'm not willing to grow. God used him to push me out, to prepare me for what was to come in the future. I had no idea what was lying ahead through this pivotal moment of pushing me out, training new employees. That did become a part of my regular role. That did become a regular part of my role. And I did become more comfortable in teaching publicly. But here's the thing, I would have never grown in that area if I wouldn't have submitted to the direction. I need you to go and train these employees today. If I would have never submitted to that, I would have never grown in that area. I would have never grown. And here's the other thing. Years later, I ended up accepting a position where I was training employees all over the nation, globally. I had no idea that was in my future. I had no idea that what God was preparing me for in that moment was for an open door in my future. I want you to think about, what are some areas that you are hesitant about in terms of moving forward because it's unfamiliar, it's uncomfortable, it's taking you out of your comfort zone, and you're resisting it. And some of you, listen, you're willing to deal with the consequences. Here I had wanted this role. I wanted to be promoted. And here God gave me the position. I was not getting ready to say what I was not going to do in this position. But some of you have decided, you know what? I'll take the consequences. I'll take the consequences of my disobedience. Your disobedience, you're also disobeying God. You're disobeying God because you don't want to be uncomfortable. And in your disobedience, you are stagnating your growth. Disobedience will stagnate your growth. Disobedience will also hinder and stop a future door from being open to you. God is preparing you for something, and He is going to thrust you out. Some of you are in a season or entering into a season where God is going to thrust you out. He is going to force you to step out. And it is not to harm you. It is not to harm you, but it is to grow you. It is to take you to the next level, because there is a door that is in your future, and the very area that he is thrusting you into is going to prepare you for that door. Embrace where you are. One of the other things that I learned through this situation is God called me to that role. God called me to that position. So although I was thrusted into an assignment that I was not totally prepared for, I did not have to worry about how foolish am I looking up here, not really understanding fully what I'm talking about, not having any skills on public speaking corporately. I'm looking foolish. What's going to happen? Am I going to be taken out of this role, out of this position? Am I going to be talked about? All these negative things can go through your mind. But I want to encourage you and let you know that when God called you to an assignment, and when you obey that assignment, you don't have to worry about those lies that the enemy will plant in your mind. Those lies. Oh, I'm a failure. Oh, I look foolish right now. All of those lies the enemy will plant in your mind, and those are only planted in your mind to get you to give up, to get you to give up and throw in the towel. But listen, even in thrusting you out, that will also be your sign. Now, let me prepare myself in this very area that God is calling me to, that I had no idea. That I had no idea that this was going to be a part of my assignment. But now that I know that it's a part of my assignment, it's now my responsibility to prepare myself. It is now my responsibility to get an understanding of this assignment that he has called me to. It is now my responsibility. My name is Lakia Kelly, and I am the author of Transformation: How God Can Take Everything You've Been Through and Transform You for His Glory. I've also written 2 other books as well. I am a Christian speaker and a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and I love coaching and mentoring women on transforming from the inside out through biblical principles so that she can show up as a bold, courageous, and an authentic woman in her chosen career, business, or profession. Over here, we are dispelling the lies of the enemy through biblical truths. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now and leave me some comments. What is something that stood out to you in this video? Have you ever been in a position where you were not prepared? You were not prepared. You were given the mic and was not prepared. You were given an assignment and you were like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this. Wait a minute, that was not in the small print below. But yet and still, yes, it is a part of your assignment. Every time you step out of the boat, it is creating an opportunity for you to grow. It is creating an opportunity for you to be prepared for those future doors. But as I already said, I believe that some of you are getting ready to be thrusted out. A force is going to prepare you forward. And that force is the power of the Holy Spirit that is pushing you. And you're going to either sink or swim. But guess what you're going to do? You are going to swim, because the Holy Spirit, he is there to encourage you, comfort you, and teach you every step of the way. So Ambitious women, you won't always be prepared for everything, but guess what? You are being prepared as you accept the assignment. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you soon.